what we're doing at Tiger Mountain in one aspect of sustainability, this being not using single-use plastics. 3 years ago, we decided to ban single-use plastics. We managed to achieve this and have removed all single-use plastics from the system that we can control. Inevitably, there are still certain things like plastic packaging coming into the lodge that we can't avoid, but we do recycle that wherever possible through local recycling agents called quarries, and where we can't recycle it, we're storing the plastic until there is a good means of safe disposal. We find now we're really aiming to remove all plastic, not just single use. A lot of this requires alternate storage materials. So we're looking for things like that, particularly in the kitchens. That's what we really aspire to achieve. One of our big challenges that we're currently working on with this is to engage with our supply chains and to remove the plastic packing. This is an enormous challenge. However, these things are always made of small steps, and we're pleased to be working with our local dairy to look at ways of buying milk in bulk so we don't have the vast numbers of 500 milliliter plastic polythene pouches that the milk currently comes in. And if we can achieve that and come up with a good system, we will obviously promote that actively across our networks and with other local hotels in the Pokhara area to encourage a wider adoption of this to reduce plastics even more.
Chapsley Simla is committed to the idea of heritage conservation and protection of the environment. Chapsley, being a 190-year-old property, was built in the traditional Dhaji style of architecture. Obviously, over the years, the walls have started crumbling in places and were in need of restoration. So we decided to adopt the same techniques which were used 190 years ago. This meant packing the wooden beams with a mixture of pine needles, stones, mud and cow dung. And we have been successful in restoring a large area of the property. Another measure that we decided to adopt was that, being a hill house, Chapsley had numerous fireplaces with log fires. Instead of coal and wood, we are now using bamboo briquettes, which is another endeavor to preserve the environment.
The sustainable practices that we follow at RARE is that we want to protect hundreds of acres of forest land, and we want to provide a home for abused, overused animals, namely elephants and camels, from the city of Jaipur. To do this, we've basically fenced the entire area, 180 acres, and are very, very strict about animals coming in to graze. We've seen that the land has reclaimed itself, the jungle is back, and which has resulted in the return of these wild animals such as leopards and hyenas and jackals and foxes, a wide variety of bird species. And when we got our animals out of the city, we've seen a change in their personality. They seem more relaxed, they seem happier, and that's the message that we want to get out to anybody visiting the camp or anyone asking about RARE. We want to kind of encourage people to spend time in nature. We encourage them to protect nature and also kind of spend time with animals in a more ethical way. In the future, what we want to do is kind of have more and more people encourage the future generation to spend time not riding or imposing on animals, but living a more natural life with them, and of course protect more and more jungle and get more animals out of the city.
With habitat creation, interesting aspects of nature come into play, and one of these very important elements of nature is termites. The story of termites is so interesting, and the role they play in the ecology and the shaping and reshaping of the forest is wonderful. So we decided to create an activity whereas we can share this story with our lodge guests, and we called it Termite Walk. It's become a very popular activity with our guests, and people simply love to hear this story of the termites.
For us at Changnam, solar energy and energy efficiency were the two most important factors, both from sustainability point of view and also from operational point of view. We are remoted in this remote village, Ubra Valley, called Kyagar village, and we didn't have a regular supply of energy at the time, and to have a fully operational luxury property in the middle of nowhere, it was very important for us to have a good source of reliable energy. So we started with a very small solar power project. We tried to use that particular solar power to operate the resort, and we were not able to completely depend on this particular system. Then slowly we decided to upgrade it. Now we are at this stage where we are completely running the property on solar energy, something which we are very proud. We have solar passive cottages, which means that we are using local materials to build the cottages, and we are orienting the cottages in such a way that we get maximum sunshine in the winters and minimum in the summers. So our cottages are thermally very efficient. And regarding our future endeavors, how we can leverage this system better is we are thinking in terms of using solar active systems now in our cottages to heat our cottages using solar energy, of course, and also using some thermal storage materials like the phase change materials, and also trying to integrate certain other modern aspects into the system so that we have a completely energy efficient and less energy intensive cottages without having to use central heating, which I think won't make any sense if you want to operate the property in early spring or maybe in the winters.
When considering sustainable tourism ventures, we cannot ignore the physical building, especially when we consider that the modern construction industry contributes as much as 50% of our world's greenhouse gases. In planning the Sarai at Toria, our main consideration was to keep our footprint as low and as green as possible. The vernacular architecture of the region provided the best option and inspiration for us. It allowed us to use local materials, skills and the knowledge passed down through generations and was perfect for the local climate. So in construction we used mud, bamboo, thatch, stone and local handmade bricks and tiles.
We used mud for our 8 cottage rooms. The 2-foot thick walls, high ceiling and thatch insulated roof keep the temperature inside comfortable for most of the season and minimize the need for energy-hungry cooling and heating systems. No air conditions required here. Our communal sitting dining area is open area that showcases the local stone workmanship. The reed-lined tile roof is breathable and allows for open fires in winter. The buildings are in natural landscape, requiring minimum water.
We at Wildmasir have created an Eastern Himalayan botanic arc since 2007, which today has over 300 species of not only endemic but also endangered species of flora of the Brahmaputra Valley of Assam. Along with these inherited species of trees, plants, herbs and ferns, the count is more than 100,000 varieties. This natural environment of biodiversity has attracted more than 90 species of birds, over 70 species of butterflies and also amphibians, reptiles and other hosts for microorganisms. In addition to this, we also have set up an orchidarium, a bamboo situm, a seed museum and other forms of agroforestry. This entire natural environment is nurtured by our local communities based on their traditional agroforestry and agricultural practices, which are free from chemicals, pesticides and other artificial additives. We today have 2 homegrown naturalists who are also ornithologists, whose task is to regularly assess the health and well-being of the natural assets. We make it a practice that all our esteemed guests and visitors are given a tour of the Botanic Arc, who understands the ecosystem services that the nature provides. And we hope we have been able to instill higher levels of respect and love for Mother Nature.
Just to tell you as to what we achieved at Vanghat was, we just left the land the way it was. We did not do any manicuring, no exotic species of trees or any plants or a lawn. We have wild grass and the native forest has sprouted up all along our campus. We did not invest in swimming pools and all that. Instead, we invested in the river. We just left the way it was. We ensured that no poaching and things like that happens. And today, the river is full of fish and our whole area is full of incredible bird life. We have our own population of tigers and elephants visit us quite often. So that's what we have accomplished at Vanghat, So that's what I tell people that, what we have done is not, we have not done anything here. Yeah, best of luck to all of you and a happy World Environment Day.